Yay! It's 12:59. Hi, Archie. How are you? You're muted.
There we go. Doing well.
Awesome. Awesome. Hi, Adam and Glenda.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everybody?
We're alive, excited, and full of energy. Woohoo!
Woo! Sounds great.
Right, so it's almost 1 o'clock, so we're gonna get started. John, I'm gonna put it over to you and just let the rest of the guests in.
Awesome. Welcome, everyone. For those who have not heard, Denny is on a plane. He is headed back from Scottsdale to Naples. So I am filling in for him, as typically happens when he's traveling. So how's everyone doing out there? What are you guys seeing in your respective areas? So when you speak up, Archie, you already look like you're going to say something. Introduce yourself, where you're from, and what you're seeing happening in your market right now.
So Archie Dean, I'm in Scottsdale, and I do the greater Phoenix and West Valley area. And as far as the inventory is still shallow, it's very low. Offers that are coming in, are coming in anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 over asking. And it's just been a very, as far as the buyers, we're still, working with them and hoping to win. And as far as the sellers go, we're still working with the sellers and trying to get as much inventory as we can.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Don't forget, guys, I know Josh just picked up on it. Many of you, when you click on your link, you're going to come on as Sherry Baraqueo. I don't even know how to say it. Unless you are Sherry, change your name. Adam, how's it going in your marketplace? What's going on?
Yeah, sounds about the same as Phoenix. At the price point we operate, seeing 20 to 100,000 over ask on properties. Just hard to place. I have buyers, so just tough to place, and got to really qualify them. And calling for listings, calling for listings. I know people
Name of the game, isn't it? Adam, where are you from again?
I'm in Wilmington, Delaware.
Wilmington, Delaware. Awesome. Going around the horn. Glenda, where are you from and what's going on in your market?
Okay, I'm here in Alameda, California, the Big Island. In December, the market report was 39 homes sold here in Alameda. The average days on the market were 20. The average price was $1,884,000. So it's still moving, which is great. So I'm learning everything I can. I'm just a beginner, so I'm very interested in what everybody's doing. Thank you so much for everything you guys are doing.
This is fun, and we're glad you appreciate it. And I appreciate the numbers. As Sonny will tell you, I get caught in the weeds with them, so I'm glad you had them right at your fingertips. That's awesome. Who else has some news to share from their market? What's going on? If you don't speak up, Josh, I'm going to call on you.
That's fine. I was going to go anyways. No, it's pretty much the same here. I'm in Denver, Colorado, and what I've noticed in the last year specifically, because the single family residential has been hot for a little while now. Condos, apartments weren't as hot, but I actually have a buyer that wants to go look at some condos and apartments in Denver, and there's nothing. I think on the MLS where I am, there was maybe 6 in his price point. Mm-hmm. And you're starting to see a lot of people moving into areas that weren't as populated or have high crime, and it's just almost out of, they're forced to because they can't afford the average home price right now in the places that they are looking at, which is the Denver metro area.
So in your area, Josh, are they starting to head east of Denver?
Yeah, it's east and west. So east more towards DIA, the Denver International Airport. Aurora is, that's kind of a hot button town because it does have a lot of crime, and it doesn't matter, houses that would have went for $250, $300 are now going for $450, $500 now. And we're talking maybe a 2 to 3 year difference. And a lot of people moving into mountains too. Mountain real estate was, always good, but especially nowadays, it's as hot. Only listings are only lasting a weekend, if that.
Okay.
So it is
All right,
crazy.
so it's a lot of the same challenges that
Yeah.
market to market, we're still facing the same challenges, right? So there's two sides of our business, buyers and sellers. Which do you want to cover first? Natalie's just smiled.
Sellers.
Okay. So what's your challenges with sellers?
I forgot who said it last Thursday. But he made it, and I can't recall his name. He made a comment about if we're not, as general, right? If we're not reaching out to expires,
Oh, yeah.
we're making a big mistake, right? Because I
Yep.
believe he had like 7 listings just of expired. So that kind of triggered for me, like, maybe that should be an avenue that I need to look into, and maybe doing a role play with that.
That was me.
Yes, Brian. That's right.
A daily basis, I constantly call expireds and withdrawals, and it's. I mean, if you're not doing it, you're missing out.
So Brian, you're calling expireds and withdrawals. Are you calling current ones that just hit the market?
Oh, so no. So I'll call some that had been off the market 9 months ago.
Awesome.
And it's a much easier conversation with them because 30 other Keller Williams agents are calling them that week, and they've created a pattern of just saying, "Don't call me again. I'm not selling the house." But 6 or even 4 months down the road, they've relaxed, and the whole story has changed. Who they are has changed. Why they're not going to sell has changed. It's just an easier conversation to have with them. So whether it be recent or a whole year from them being off the market, I'll still call them.
Brian, there's a reason why Denny and I love talking to you, is because this is exactly where I was hoping we were going to go with this today. Listings are obviously the name of the game. Without listings, we're kind of lost. Everybody is trying to recreate the wheel and find somebody new. Guess what? There is a lot of people out there that were trying to sell their home a year ago, 2 years, 3 years, that haven't. So start digging really deep in your market and finding those who haven't come on. The other part of sellers that I wanted to chat about today is pricing and how you handle pricing conversations. What objections do you come up with, or what walls are you hitting when you're trying to price a property for a seller? Or do you price the property for the seller? Or is listings so slow right now that nobody's running into that conversation? Interactive guys, come on, work with it.
So John, I actually
ahead,
had a situation recently actually with withdrawing. And look, I'm not sure because I'm in Louisiana. I'm not sure what y'all's regulations. That may be different. Like I'm able to reach out to cancel withdrawing listings.
Okay,
so
legal in your market.
Yeah, it's legal in my market. So the same situation. As soon as this house came off the market, I called the guy. Same what I expected. He said, "Don't." He blamed the previous agent, blah blah, and I didn't call him back. I texted him, he didn't answer. So like a month or two later, I called him, and then we're supposed to be closing actually today at 4. So this is a conversation to have with all, especially now in the market. So like I overpriced the house. I mean, this is a completely different market over there than Florida, but like it appraised. We priced at $150 a square foot. It appraised at $148 a square foot. So, and not only that, but the underwriter came back and gave pushback to the third party appraiser. So at the end of the day, it's not the appraisal, it's not the agent, not the seller or the buyer, it's the bank that's buying the house. So like I had that conversation with every seller. I was like, look, I could price for $1 million, but if the underwriter at the end of the day doesn't agree with the comps, they're going to do a desk review. They're in-house appraisal, and it's just I have 2 transactions right now they've done that because people are overpricing their houses over here, and then it comes back and it's just the appraisal is over what the underwriter's agreeing with, and they're doing their own in-house review, and here we are
So Brian, that's interesting. The underwriter is doing an in-house review, not to the benefit of the transaction.
I don't know how to answer that one, but I guess more to the benefit to the lender, the actual one financing the deal. Because if they don't agree with the comps,
are they suggesting a drop in the appraised value? In your case, you said you had it listed at 150. You dropped it down to 100. You sold it for 148. Were they suggesting a less of
so the lender was suggesting that we may end up doing an in-house review if they can't justify the actual comps. Luckily, they didn't come back, but the other transaction I'm on right now, we've had 3 different appraisals. The third appraisal was in-house, and it actually appraised $7,000 more than, which it didn't help them. It did help the bank. It appraised more than what they thought. So, that's a conversation I have with every seller. Like, look, at the end of the day, it's the underwriter of the bank that's buying the house, not the buyer.
Yep.
You know, we can price it anywhere. The bank's the one that's financing the deal.
Excellent.
So I would talk about that every time with the seller.
Awesome. All right. So let's talk pricing strategies and how to have a conversation with the seller about price. Who has a good conversation or a good script that they use when talking to sellers about price? And T, I know you're not Sherry. Change your name, T.
I have one that has worked for me.
Go ahead, Noelle.
Which is to basically explain to the seller that if we price the property competitively, that's what's going to drive the multiple offers that they're looking for. And that's what's going to drive the competition to get the price up where they want to get it to.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you like the multiple offer strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you give the price to the seller? So seller says to you, Noelle, you're the professional. What's my house worth?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. I mean, I give them a range, usually right when I get there, and that's usually before I've seen the full house.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I see the house and the upgrades and the options in it, then usually I'll pick a specific number. And a lot of times, they're like, well, Zillow says this, or I got a postcard in the mail that said it was worth, 25,000 more than that. And my point is I don't know what the market's going to do, but this has worked for me in the past, is pricing competitively, because that's what gets people in the door. And really what I want to do is get as many people through your house as possible and as many people bidding on it as possible.
Excellent. I like that. Want to give you an idea and like to work on this as the group today. What if we never gave a price? Now, you guys are all familiar with TV shows like Criminal Minds and CSI and Law and Order, right? And it's always the DNA that gets somebody in trouble. Bryant, thankfully, had a withdrawn listing that he just listed that they admitted was overpriced. The previous agent didn't do the right job. When you give a price to a seller, what do they hear? What do they hear, Noelle?
This is how much you're going to get for your house.
Yes, that's what they hear, right? Do we really know on any given day how much a house is going to sell for? No, it takes a buyer and a seller to agree to that, right? So what if you were to have the conversation, says, this is what's happened in the past. Now, is the market, you as a seller, is the market working for you or against you right now? Come on, Noelle, play along.
Okay. As a seller, the market is working for you.
Okay, so, Noelle, if the past shows that your price is here, where do you think your price is going to be in a month?
Higher.
Does it make sense to price it here? Or does it make sense to price it where you think it's going to be in a month?
It probably makes sense to price it on the higher end, I would think.
Okay, and what would that number be?
750,000.
Okay, excellent. And Noelle, considering you've got certain time constraints as to when you want your house sold and when you need to be in your new place, what happens if the market says no?
I mean, it might mean that we can't buy our new home, which would be a real problem.
Okay. So and now guys, if you notice, never gave her a price. She gave me the price. Now we start walking through the pleasure and the pain of the transaction. So Noelle, remind me, where are you moving again?
We're moving nearby. We're just buying a new construction home.
Okay, excellent. And why are you buying a new construction home? Why not just stay where you are?
We're wanting something with a little bit different layout, an easier lot to care for, and something that's actually a little less expensive because our neighborhood values have gone up so quickly.
Okay. So that puts you in a unique position because you're able to sell a property at a higher price and buy down in the market, which works pretty well right now. So what happens if you don't make that move?
I mean, we currently owe about $100,000 more on our mortgage than we would in the new property.
And how do you feel about that?
I'm getting to an age where I would rather not owe as much money as we do. And so I would like to get that reduced and maybe looking at a shorter term mortgage as well.
Okay. Awesome. And that would prepare you for, and I'm going to kind of advance it a little bit so we can all practice a little bit. That would prepare you for, it sounds like you're getting ready for retirement or slowing down a little bit. Maybe the kids are getting ready to go off to college and your husband can spend some time traveling, visiting grandkids, whatever the case is. Right. Okay. If you don't sell your house, how does that affect your ability to travel and visit your kids?
I mean, it definitely reduces it by quite a bit. We need to, looking ahead to retirement and how many years we have left to do that, we really need to get down to a 15-year mortgage. And I don't feel like we can do that in this house.
Okay. So if the market says no at 750, what do you think we need to do?
I mean, probably price it a little under that, maybe just to get interest.
Because there's one of three things that's going to happen when we go to the market. First outcome, little to no showings. And like you said, that tells us we're probably pretty overpriced. Second outcome, showings but no offers. Might still have a pricing objection there, right?
Okay.
Third is we have showings and a contract and your house sells.
Yeah.
Where do you want to be?
Obviously the third one. I mean, I really want to do this. So
awesome. So every week when we have our conversation, what's going on? I'm going to say, Noelle, where are we? Are we in 1, 2, or 3?
Okay.
And now, guys, stepping out of role play, what you do, and Denny teaches this all the time down here in Southwest Florida, what you do is you set them up to A, own the price, and B, own the price reductions based on their timeline and their comfort level. It's a lot easier doing this than it is sitting down and beating them up. So, well, this is what the comps are. So nobody cares about the comps. And at the end of the day, does Noelle really care what the price of her house is, or does she care more that she accomplishes her goal? What do you think, Michelle?
I was just thinking the reality, at least over here, is we're getting a lot of real stubborn sellers that say, I care about the price I get for my home. And in some cases, they care just mostly about the number and not even the net to them. It gets a little frustrating to explain to them that the price isn't really the issue, it's the net and the terms and the timing that we get for them. So that was a little different take on that.
So Michelle, in your market, are they predominantly owner occupied, or do you have a high concentration of second homes?
Oh, yeah, we're 50-50, I would say.
What market
we're Tucson, Arizona. We're huge active adult retirement.
Okay. We have the same challenges here in Southwest Florida. People come to your neighborhood, my neighborhood, God's waiting room, so on and so forth.
Yes.
So the conversation I just had with Noelle is a different conversation with an investor or a second homeowner. Because guess what? If it's a second home, I'm going to give up my time in Tucson, I better be getting a lot of money to give up my time in Tucson, because they're trading money for lifestyle. Guess what? Noelle is doing the same thing. She is trading money for lifestyle. Different side of the coin, but they're doing the exact same thing. So your owner occupants are going to go very much like Noelle did. It's not the price of the home. That's not the reason they're selling. So in most markets, that's who you're going to be talking about most of the time. You're going to be speaking with the owner occupants, right? Have you all seen the 3 outcomes graphic that Denny has? Adam's saying yes, Michelle's saying no. Okay, so what we will do is we'll make a note to make sure that that gets posted on Denny's Mastery of Real Estate Facebook page so you can see it if it's not already there. That will help you walk through the exact conversation. And you know what? You can use it for your second homeowners also. All right, so let's do a couple different role plays. Noelle, I'm going to have you be the agent in the owner-occupied arena. All right.
Okay.
Archie, would you please be the seller in the owner-occupied? Then we're going to switch it up. Michelle is going to be the agent in the investor/second home market.
Okay.
All right. And the idea is you want to get down to why are they selling? Take them through the little bit of the pain and the pleasure. What happens if you don't sell? And Archie, feel free to push back on price. Let's do it.
I'm so glad we got to meet today, Archie. I was wondering actually what you were thinking about your house was worth.
Well, you know, you're actually the real estate expert, and that's why I called you here this evening to figure out what my house would sell in this market.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's kind of I know my neighbor, you know, he got 700 for his, and I definitely know that mine's probably a little better than his.
Okay. Do you what are your goals once you sell this place? Are you moving out of state? Are you looking to buy a bigger house? Are you looking for retirement? Like, what are you thinking?
I'm actually just looking at going to the East Valley. I've been in the West Valley for 20 years and just getting a little different feel for where I want to be.
Okay.
But I mean, it's not something that it's not like I have to sell my house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a good position, so it doesn't matter as far as that goes.
And once you if you end up meeting your goal and moving over there, what are you looking for over there? Are you thinking you want something more expensive, something less expensive? What's your thought process there?
I'm probably looking at about what I have now. I'm not looking to, you know, move up, move down. I'm comfortable with the same square footage that I have now.
Okay, so more of a lateral move then.
Correct, lateral move.
All right. So I know your neighbor's house sold for 700. I tend to take a strategy of trying to price a little bit under the comps and the solds because it drives interest. It drives multiple showings, it drives multiple offers, and usually that in the past that has been absolutely my best way of going about it, and it's how I get sellers top dollar for their house.
All right, Noelle, I'm going to pause you right there for a second. One of the things that I was remiss, we still want to follow the same model.
Okay.
Acknowledge, isolate, address, close.
Okay.
Okay, so Archie gave you a price point, and so let's acknowledge his price point.
Okay.
And then isolate it.
Okay, so
okay.
You're thinking your house is actually worth more than your neighbor's at 700.
Correct.
Okay, so like 715, 725, 750, like what are you thinking?
Well, you know, I'm probably looking at 750.
Okay, all right. What do you think if we put your house on the market at 750 and we get
isolate?
Yeah, we don't get any showings at that price. What would you feel then?
Well, I suppose that again, feeling that I don't have to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I definitely want to go with the 750.
Okay, so even if we can't sell your house at 750, you wanna price it there.
Absolutely.
Okay. So in that case, you won't be moving to the south side if we can't sell it at 750.
No, I probably wouldn't. I just feel, you know, I know my house definitely has more amenities that I've done versus what my neighbor's home sold for.
Okay. So sorry, John. So isolate, acknowledge. I'm a little stuck as to what to say next. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
You're mute, John.
Oh,
Is that better?
yeah, there you go.
Okay. You missed, sorry about that. I'm colorblind. I've got a red and green on and off button, and I can't tell which is which. So, okay. So you got the acknowledge part. You missed the isolation part. Okay. When Archie says, I want to list it at 750.
Okay.
Think of it this way. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
Okay.
Okay. And it sounds like this. Archie, I appreciate that you want to list the home at 750. Other than that, is there anything keeping us from moving forward today?
Other than that. Okay.
There's your trial close.
Yeah.
Okay. You did a great job getting him to give you the number.
Okay.
All right. So go ahead. Take it from there.
Okay. So Archie, I hear you want to sell your house for 750 and move to the east side. Other than that, is there anything holding you back from selling your home?
No, absolutely. There's nothing other than that.
Okay. So it is, but it is absolutely for you that we have to be at 750 or you're not going to sell it.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Well, so we can go about that in a few ways. We can price it lower and try and get more interest and get it bid up. Or we can price it at 750 and see where we stand. I don't know that we'll get as many showings that way, and it can become market weary and people get tired of seeing it on the listed and price.
Well, let's not go down the negative road.
Okay.
Okay. And we all do it, don't we? We want to explain our way out of everything.
Yeah.
It's okay. You know, Archie, you want to list it at 750. Great. And
Okay.
now on your trial close, you're acknowledge and isolate. You isolated well, but you want to say, is there anything keeping us from doing business today? Or is there anything preventing you from listing with me today? You
Okay.
said, are you going to put your house on the market if you put it on at 750? Well, he might put it on with you. He might put it on with somebody from Remax.
Right. Right.
Okay. So bring it back to you.
Okay.
Is there anything keeping us from doing business today?
Okay. So Archie, is
Then
it,
you can go into the, well, gee, Archie, what happens if the market says no?
okay. Okay.
All right.
So Archie, is there anything else keeping, you and I from doing business together today? If we can, list your house at 750?
Where do I sign?
Great. That sounds good. And we,
The answer's right here, Noel.
okay.
That's it.
Fine.
The answer's right there.
Here it is.
Okay.
I have it for you right
Great
here.
job, guys. Now let's talk about this for a second. We are still in a market where we only have 15 to 20% of our typical inventory. I think that's pretty much across the board nationwide, isn't it? And
Yeah.
up in Canada. Okay. So would you really have a problem taking a listing that you felt was 5 or 10% overpriced in this market?
Not at all.
No, not at all. So Archie laid it up for you. He said, if listed at 750, it's yours. Good. Do it. Don't overcomplicate it.
Okay.
Don't put thoughts in his head that's going to cause him to say, well, wait a second, maybe I'm making the wrong decision here.
Okay.
All right. Then he's committed to you. Then you can start having the conversation, or you get him to sign everything. You say, okay, so the market says no. What are we going to do? Remember, he's making a lateral move.
Mm-hmm.
You've got plenty of ammunition, so Archie, can we find your house at 725 down in the valley?
Right.
Maybe. Oh, okay, great. So it's really we just want to find a house that's in the same ballpark as what you're going to sell this for. The price doesn't matter. He thinks the price matters. But if he can find the house he wants for 600 and sell his house for 600, he's accomplished his goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What would you say if the seller wants to sell, 30, 40, 50% over what you feel they could probably get for their property?
Okay, so that's a really deep dive into motivation.
Mm-hmm.
A really deep dive. Okay. And if they're moving out of town, job change, they're motivated.
Okay.
Okay. that might be a time, and I've done this where say, hey, you know what, we just might not be an ideal match to work together.
Right.
If they're that far off, or you might consider renting your home.
Okay.
And then if they say, yeah, you know what, I might rent it. Great. They've just teed themselves up for a nightmarish conversation about being a landlord. Doesn't matter if you're a landlord locally or halfway across the country. Being a landlord is not easy. It takes a special person, a special mindset to be a landlord, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you very much, both of you, for playing along on that. Michelle, are you ready?
No.
Good. That's the best time, because you know what? We always get the phone calls from people when we're not expecting it.
I know.
So,
I'm just really, really nervous here. So
that's okay.
bear with me.
That's okay. Who is in a second home market that would like to be a seller of a second home? Come on, I'm looking at two of them right in the middle of my screen. They're both here in Naples. Oh, and she just turned her camera off. Okay.
John, you're it.
Come on, Rosamond, you want to play along?
Yes, why not?
Okay, Rosamond, you are going to be the seller here in Naples, second home.
Yes,
Michelle
sir.
is calling you up, and let's hear how this conversation goes. Go ahead.
Okay, just for a little setup, usually my second home and my investors are not here locally, so they're phone calls. Just so
Perfect.
you
And you
know.
guys aren't in the same city right now either, so this works out great.
Okay, great. All right, I have to close my eyes. Okay. Okay, so I'm talking to Rosamond. Okay. Rosamond, thank you so much for taking your time to chat with me today about the sale of your property on Main Street. So tell me what's made you decide to sell this property here in Tucson?
Actually, I'm trying to see if I can get the most out of it, because I know the market is hot right now.
You're trying to get the most money based on today's aggressive sellers market. Is that what I hear you saying?
Yes, trying to cash out and so yes.
Okay, and what do you plan to do with the cash once you've sold this property?
Don't know yet, but maybe I'm thinking maybe get something in our another house, an investment.
In here in Tucson as well, or in another area of the country?
Maybe another area.
Another area?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have another area in mind at the moment?
Maybe I can think about somewhere in Florida, Sunshine.
Okay. If that's where you decide to move or to purchase, do you already have an agent there to help you?
Actually, I'm still looking on Zillow, but I don't have nobody yet.
Okay. Well, as we progress and we get further in, I can connect you with some top real estate agents in the area to help you make an informed and good decision on a new purchase. As far as your property here, do you already have a price that you are thinking that you want to sell it for?
I think according to market, I mean, I think it's worth like 750.
750. Okay. Now, are we assuming that he's wanting to sell that higher than what the market is bearing?
I'm sorry.
I was talking to John. Are we assuming that he's trying to overprice this property?
Yeah, you can assume that.
Okay. Okay.
Every seller wants to do that today, don't they?
Yeah,
Sure. Okay.
They're worth $1 million.
Okay. So other than the price, do you have any other questions that I can help you with? I'm assuming that you've reviewed our marketing materials and know what we do to get homes sold.
Too many points, Michelle.
Okay.
Ask one question.
One question.
Other than the price, Rosamond, is there anything keeping us from working together?
Rosamond, is there anything keeping us from working together?
No, if you can give me that price, we'll be working together. That's fine.
Great. Well, let's go ahead and sign the paperwork now and we'll get started. I'll send it to you via DocuSign right now. Are you in front of your computer?
Yes, but you guarantee me 750, right?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So here's my.
Okay, so Michelle, hang on a second. I gotta.
Okay.
Rosamond said you're going to guarantee me 750, right?
Oh, I didn't hear him say guaranteed.
Yeah,
I thought he said list. Are we going to list at 750? Ooh, Rosamond, that was sneaky. That was sneaky. No. So no, I won't guarantee you 750, but I'll guarantee you that we will try our very best with all of our marketing to get you the price that you are looking for. I don't have a crystal ball, Rosamond, but like I said, I will guarantee we'll try our best. What I suggest,
Michelle, let's shorten all of that.
Okay.
And this is,
Shorten it.
if you start running on it, and we all do it, run on sentences like, oh, I don't know what to say. And it comes across, right?
Okay. Yep.
So, Rosamond, I can't guarantee 750, but you know what? I can guarantee absolute top market value for your home.
Oh, I like
you
that.
can make the decision if that's right for you. Done.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'm writing it down.
Awesome. None of these lines I made up. I stole them all from Denny.
Okay.
And guys, in this market, it's not, you are not out of line saying I can guarantee a top market value. Now, top market value may not be Rosamond's number. That's okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, Michelle, how do you think you did on that role play? Tell me what you did well.
I think getting to hit, well, actually first off, I'm going to tell you what I didn't do well is the motivation to sell. What's making him choose to sell this property when he doesn't even know where he's going to purchase. I feel like that's not high motivation.
Okay. You could have clarified that a little bit. Yeah. The inference was all numbers. Investors are all numbers, right? So the inference is there, but yes, clarification on that would have been nice. What else?
Like you said, I need to be more concise in my responses.
And that's all of us. Ask one question and right?
One at a time.
One at a time.
So you did a great job probing for referrals early. I love that. That is awesome. You missed an opportunity at the beginning to close it in about a minute and a half. The first thing he said to you is, I want the most I can get for this house. Great. Rosamond, what's the most mean to you? 750,000. Awesome. So Rosamond, if we can put your house on the market at $750,000, can we do business today? He teed it up for you right at the beginning. Okay. So we think we have an idea where the conversation is going to go every time. How many have had a conversation with somebody and by the end of the conversation, you're like, I was talking to myself the entire time. Right. Because we're pushing the conversation the way we think it's going to go.
It just seems so unnatural to just see that as the opportunity right then and there to close. I feel like we work so hard and like you said, do all the talking and we're going over all, this is what we do and we're this wonderful and we're that. And I didn't even hear the opportunity when he said that. So that's
exactly the point. And we're all like that.
Just the way to
do like that. You just muted yourself, Michelle. You had something important to say.
I just said it's right to the point. It was just right to the point. We could have been in and out of there in 10 minutes and I'm normally there in 90 minutes. So.
Right. And how many of us, myself included, have spent years and years and years bringing these fancy PowerPoints, and if you really want to date myself, flip charts and a big 3-ring binder to listing appointments because we thought it impressed people. I did the lip syncing because Michelle's whispering again.
I just said you made me sweat. I had to take off my sweater.
Okay, so sellers, the conversation needs to be around them and their goals, especially if it's a homeowner. With Rosamond as an investor, awesome. He might buy another property. Well, then you can start probing. Once you get the commitment to list the house at 750, now you can start probing down the 1031 and so on, and creating other opportunities, not only for you, but for your referral partners and so on. One thing I would suggest when you start probing for referrals is make it personal with the agent you're going to refer to, even if you don't know them. You know what? I know, Rosamond, that you're looking at moving out to, let me pick someplace I don't know anyone, Pittsburgh. You know, I've got a great group of people that can help you out in Pittsburgh. They've been in the business for a long time and really trust them. If you don't mind, I'd like you to at least have a conversation with them.
I love that, because that's actually, that would be somebody that we're going to seek out and find, is somebody with those qualities, right? So generalizing is still specific for whoever we choose.
Exactly.
I put John on my marketing strategy for Naples.
Yep. And I, whenever Liliana gets a new listing, she sends it to me. We do some posting down here for her. So guys, make the relationships. Okay. So we got about 20 minutes left. Buyers. How many are thinking buyers have buyer fatigue right now? They're getting really annoyed. Adam, what are you seeing with the buyers in your market?
Frustration.
Okay. And the buyers that are in the market right now, they've been in the market for probably 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and many of them have been losing the entire time, right? Does it feel good walking through a door, getting punched in the face every time?
No.
Or she's like, yeah, no. I guarantee you, everybody has a list or can get a list of buyers from 2 or 3 years ago that are still renting, that haven't gone through the pain of trying to purchase in this market. So what would a conversation look like with those buyers? And yeah, I'm kind of dropping hints on where you guys should be looking for business. All right. Because we're having a lot of success here with old buyer leads. Is there anything from preventing us do business together? Okay, so hang on a second. Before we go into the buyers, let's do this. This is from this is from Celine. Thank you, Celine. Is there anything preventing us do business together? Yes, I have a friend whom I've known for years and would also love to list my house. I've known him for years. We are meeting later on this week. Awesome. That is a great question. Who's run into that one? And this is going to work for buyers or sellers, does not matter. Who is run into, I've got a friend or a family member that's in the business? Archie, come on, you do enough. You've had to run into that.
Yeah, I ran into it. And my objection handler for that one is, so let me ask you, Mr. Buyer, Mr. Seller, do you value that friendship? Because, you know, first of all, this is a business transaction for me, and I want to make sure that I get you the most money, or I want to get you the home that you're looking for. And you know, what if something happens with your friend that something went the other way? Is it worth losing that value, that relationship for what you built all those years?
I love that. I love that. I use one because this is a line that my father used on me in a business that we had a few years ago that failed. And guess what? We still can have Thanksgiving dinner together. And it's exactly that. So 2 questions I ask. Your friend or family member, are they in this, do they pay their mortgage and put food on their table in this business, or is this just kind of a hobby?
Yeah.
And most of the times they don't know. Second, if something goes wrong, are you still going to be able to go to Thanksgiving, or how would you feel having to fire your friend?
Yep.
That's a really tough question to ask. Most of us have been fired before from clients, and even fired clients before, right? So don't be afraid to dig and push on that a little bit. Now, some people are going to cave instantly and say, oh God, no, he's a bartender full time and just kind of does this to be able to sell a house so he can, you know, go on a vacation once. Okay, great. And that's who you want negotiating for you? Okay. That's one way of handling it. If the person happens to be full time There is nothing wrong with it. I mean, you might even know who it is. It's in your market. You might even know who the agent is. So, yeah, you know what? I know Adam. Adam's a great guy. And I did not know that you guys were first cousins. And, I didn't know you spent all that time together. Again, question is, if something goes wrong, is that going to hurt your relationship with Adam? And what if there was a way that Adam can participate in this and has absolutely no emotional attachment to this transaction? Well, what's that look like? Well, we'll give him a referral fee, 25%. I pay all the expenses. He gets 25% profit just for being related to you. So that's another way of handling that one. But I always use that one last because I just don't like to give the money up if I don't have to. Right, Archie? So, all right. So old buyers that are still buyers. What do you think, especially if they're going to be owner occupied? Let's focus on that one first. Owner occupied buyers that haven't bought in the past 3 years. What are they doing? Most likely, what are they doing?
You're renting.
They're renting. Awesome. Archie, let's see how much you've been paying attention. So what's the interest rate on rent?
Right now, it's the interest
rate on rent.
Oh, just rent?
Yeah. If I'm paying you $2,000 a month, relative interest, how much of that do I get back?
No, you're not getting anything back.
Okay, so if I'm not getting anything back, then it's 100% interest, right?
Correct.
Okay. Would a buyer that's been sitting on the sideline renting, the rent's $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, whatever market you're in, the rent is immaterial. Are they going to be better off paying a mortgage than they are renting? Does not matter the price of the house. Are they better off paying a mortgage?
Absolutely.
Okay. So why not go back through some of those old leads? I mean, I've got hundreds and hundreds of old Zillow leads. We just started calling it in our database that Denny's got. He's got probably another 5,000 or 8,000. We're just sitting there. We start calling them, and guess what? We're finding things in there. We're finding people that haven't bought. And they're saying things like, I should have bought 3 years ago. I don't want to pay today's price. We're probably hearing that from a lot of buyers, right? Because Michelle, you're still muted.
I was just speaking to myself saying, how about we say that to them in 3 years? Let's not say that to them in 3 years. If they wait another 3 years.
Yeah, that is exactly how you handle that. So what's going to happen in 3 years from now? So the conversation might sound something like this. All right, Archie, you want to be the buyer?
Sure.
Okay, so now, Archie, I know that 3 years ago we had touched base, and I noticed that you were looking online for some property. Have you ever bought?
It's been quite some time. About 15 years ago is the last time I bought. Otherwise, I've just been renting.
Okay, so you've been renting for the past 3 years, and how come you haven't purchased a place yet?
Well, I haven't purchased a place because the last time we were looking, it seemed like I priced myself out of the market at that time. And now with the market the way it is, I mean, it's just costing me so much more money than I did 3 years ago when I was looking.
Yeah, I totally get it. And we don't want to be having this conversation in 3 years and looking back in the mirror and having it again, saying the same thing. Archie, let me ask you, what are you paying for rent right now?
Right now, I'm paying about $2,100 a month.
Okay, which works out to about what, $25,000 a year?
Good numbers, yeah.
Okay. How much of that are you going to get back when you move out?
Well, I may get my security deposit if they decide, but probably other than that, there may be a stain in the carpet. They're just going to take it.
Okay. This is going to sound really elementary, Archie, but wouldn't it make more sense for you to send that money to a bank where at least you get some of that back every month in the form of equity?
Yeah, the agent that I was working with 3 years ago should have told me that.
Well, I'm glad we're having the conversation today. So Archie, other than being concerned about where the prices are now, which neither you or I control, other than being concerned about that, is there anything keeping you from moving forward and buying a house?
No, if I could find one in my price point and I know that it was a doable, I would definitely save money today because I just lost 3 years that I
Wonderful.
can't
Okay.
get back.
So there is your role play, guys, on how to have a conversation with an old buyer. At that point, that's a simple close for the appointment. Come on in. You know what, Archie? I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to bring one of my trusted mortgage advisors in, and let's sit down and put everything out on the table and really see where you are. Now, off script, most people will come in and find that they're in a lot better position than they thought. If he's got a security deposit in last month's rent, guess what? He probably has the down payment on the home. Right?
Yep.
Adam, you're thinking.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'll be rewatching it.
All right, so we're going to play through the buyer side of it. Who would like to be the agent calling the three-year-old buyer? The guy that's been sitting, the guy or the girl that's been sitting stale in 97 databases because they clicked on a Zillow ad.
I haven't been practicing, but I'd like to try.
All right, Adam, you're going to be the agent. Who's going to be my buyer? I wish Bryant was on camera. You got to be on camera for this. All right, Madeleine.
Sure, I'll give it a try.
You are the buyer. All right,
Okay.
let's hear how this goes.
Hey, Madeleine. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Madeleine.
It's my ladies.
Okay. So Madeleine, I was just reaching out. I know you had searched on our website about 3 years ago, looking at some homes, and I was just curious. Had you got into a home yet?
No, I haven't, Adam. I'm still renting.
Okay. I mean, what is it that's held you back from getting into the market?
No, I was going through a lot of personal things 3 years ago, and I was waiting for my kid to finish pre-K, and just life happens, and now the prices are way too high, so I'm thinking I might have to wait a few more years.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you right, you're saying you're concerned about the price of homes in the market currently, and that's what's been holding you from getting into the market?
That primarily, but then also closing costs and down payment. I don't think I have saved up for that.
Okay, so the financing side of it.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so other than figuring out the financing situation for yourself and the current market price, is there anything that would hold you from moving forward with me today?
No, I think really my hesitation is the prices, how they are right now, and not having the money for the down payment, honestly.
Okay, I can understand. So let me ask you this: how much do you pay currently in rent?
About $1,800.
Okay, and that's a comfortable monthly payment for you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me ask you, how much are you paying in interest on that, on your rent payment?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I didn't ask that right. Let me try again. So you roughly paid about $21,000 to your rent payment this year.
Yes, we could say that in total.
Okay. So let me ask you the question: would it make sense to, instead of paying that, and how much of that money are you going to get back when you move out of that house?
Probably the 1,800 of deposit, but maybe not.
Okay. Well, let me ask you the question: would it make sense, instead of paying that money out, to be paying for your housing needs, to pay that money to a bank and know that when you do sell, you're getting some of that money back in equity?
Hey,
No,
Adam,
no,
let's
believe
adjust
me.
that just for a second, Adam. Every time you write a check to the bank, you're building equity for you and your family.
Mm.
That's a good one.
You know,
So
Madeline,
no,
every time you write a check for your mortgage to a bank, you're gaining money back for in equity for you and your family.
I understand that, and I completely see what you're saying. But my issue, Adam, is that I don't have the down payment. I don't have down payment money saved up. Isn't that like 5 or 20% or something like that?
Okay, so you feel comfortable now that you'd be in a better position 3 years ago had you purchased?
Well, are you listening to what I'm saying? I don't have down payment.
Yeah,
Hold
I'm just trying to tackle one at a time. So I understand you have two concerns currently about getting into the market. Let's address that concern. So financing, right? What I would suggest there, so I'm not an expert in financing, Madeline. I'm an expert in real estate. I know enough to be dangerous, but not an expert. What I would suggest is you get with a professional. I have a great lender I could refer you to, and just have the conversation with him. What we find is when people lay out all their cards on the table and really look at it with a professional, they're in a better position than they realize. Are you open to having that conversation?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But are you saying that in this current market, when people are paying over the asking price just so that they can win the offer, you're saying I could negotiate for the seller to pay my closing costs?
You know a lot more about this process than you're letting on, I think. Sure, let me address.
I'm ready to buy. I'm just struggling with not having saved up for my down payment or closing costs. That's really my issue. So
Yeah,
how can we
Hey,
overcome
look,
that?
Purchasing a home, they say, is one of the most stressful thing a person does in their life, right behind owning, having a child. And my goal here is to, take a lot of that stress out of the process for you. So I think from what you're telling me, step one would be to sit down and have the conversation, and then you'll know where you stand with that and what needs to be done, so that when you are ready, you can move forward.
Okay.
Great. I'm going to send you over my lender's app. You can fill out the information, and we'll go from there.
Okay, I can give him a
Adam,
call.
great job. Great job.
Wasn't as smooth as a little nervous.
But that's why we're doing this. I'm very
That's why
rusty.
we
Out
do
of
this,
it, bro.
right?
Yeah.
All right. So Adam, I gotta give you some mad props on a couple things here. Because whether you realize it or not, the way you handled the pronunciation of Madeline's name is awesome. Okay. How many of you pick up the phone? You're like, oh my God, I have no idea how to say that. All right. So does anyone here speak Spanish? Oh, Rosemont. Okay. So you're going to laugh at this, Madeline. Okay. So we have a pretty big Hispanic population down here in Southwest Florida. As soon as somebody picks up the phone and they say, hola, I say, lo siento, mi español es malo. I'm so sorry. My name's John. Michelle got it. Yep. I said, listen, my Spanish is bad. I'm sorry. Have fun with it. So the first thing he says is, Madeline, did I pronounce that right? You were being you, Adam. That was beautiful. You were being you. All right. And the other thing is you started adding some humor in there. Again, you're being you. It's so important when you're having conversations with people, guys. Just be yourself. It's so much. They don't expect us to know every single word and every single answer. What we're doing here, this is the hardest conversation you're ever going to have about real estate. Why? Because you got 23 other people sitting here staring at you like, oh my God, I think they're all critiquing me. That's not how it works. Everybody see, Michelle's totally feeling that. Everybody that's on here is learning something every single time. I learn something every single time. That's the whole point. Everybody on here is here to be a sponge and to help each other out. So it's awesome. Madeline, go ahead.
Yeah, and to your point, John, I was going to tell Adam, like when he asked if that's how you pronounce my name correctly, having a name like me who people constantly mispronounce, for me, that kind of woke me up a little bit. I'm like, okay, he wants to pronounce my name correctly. Let me hear what he has to say.
He
So
cares.
that's the buyer side, right? Exactly. So I
Yeah.
think that was awesome, Adam.
I loved it. You were very conversational throughout it. The one question I got is, and I don't know if I missed it, I may have, did she use the word, or did she say she was afraid of the stress of buying a house?
I felt it was she was either just throwing up walls to throw up walls, or she was inferring that was creating stress. It seemed to me the idea of going out on this limb and making this huge purchase was giving her stress. Okay. But I might have forced it on her. So I hear you.
Denny always teaches us, use their words. It's so important, especially when you're injecting a negative feeling. Okay. When you went down the road of, this is the second most stressful time next to having a kid, I'm like, oh my God, I've been divorced. Divorce was way more stressful than buying a house. However, you see the dark path I'm going down. Okay. Now she's like, oh, all this is buying awesome. So what would it look like if you bought the house? Let's get rid of all of the feelings you're thinking about right now. 60 days from now, you own the house. How do you feel? We're bringing her back to, oh, this is awesome. I got a place for my kids to grow up. We can set down roots. You want to force that issue on the positive reinforcement, not the fact that they may have a lender that's a schmuck and makes it really difficult to get through the transaction, or a home inspector that thinks the world's falling down on them because they found an ant in the house. Right?
No, I'm so glad you pointed that out. That is my kryptonite, and I didn't even hear that in that little script I used. That's awesome.
Well, there's a lot of eyes and ears on this, okay? Especially when it comes to negative connotations. Use only their words and nothing else. Because then if you use your own, you spiral down into, God, this is going to be like getting divorced, right? That was how I felt. I don't know if anyone else picked up on that or felt that. Natalie, you're nodding your head.
Yes, absolutely. I actually thought of that too. I was like, oh, I have been divorced. Like, So yeah, that's such a good point, because awesome. I experienced that as pretending to be the buyer. I was thinking, and then you're taking me on a different path, and I'm no longer being present and hearing what you have to say. Yep. I'm living my past or whatever. Yeah.
Yep. Guys, you were all awesome today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Reminder, next week, we're moving to Fridays for April and May. Okay. Denny has bowled every Wednesday and Thursday for April and May. So Thursdays are out. 1 o'clock Eastern time, which is 10 o'clock Pacific.
Is it on Wednesdays, you said?
Fridays.
Friday. Okay, good.
Yes. Starting April 1st. So bring all your jokes next week. All right.
Is it going to be the same link?
Same link, yes. Just a different bat time. Same bat channel, different bat time. All right?
Okay.
Guys, you were awesome today.
Thank you so much.
Participation.
Thank you.
And stress
see you all next
Thank
week.
you. Have a good day.
You too, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.